And we are back with Meg Fowler from the History Museum of Mobile. I want to talk to you a little bit about the museum itself. I believe your museum building has a long and storied history. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, the building was built in 1855. It was originally the City Hall. We actually have a very special distinction of being the oldest continuously operating City Hall in the country. And the way that we maintain that designation, now of course it's the History Museum, but once a year the City Council comes and has a meeting here, so it is continuously operating as a City Hall. They'll do it in December. It's a lot of fun. Local choirs will come. It's a great tradition. The building was built as a southern market, and so this was kind of a European model where you would have, the stinky fish market and the government were all in the same building. And so kind of all of that come together, really the center of life and the heart of the downtown Mobile, and stayed the City Hall more or less until Government Plaza was built in the early 90s.
I'm not trying to get you with a gotcha one here, but this is just one that I'm curious about. How did Government Street become named Government Street? Do you know?
It was from the very beginning. It was the heart of city government. So you had some really old courthouses that were some of the original courthouses were there. You've got the City Hall right here adjacent to Government Street, and a lot of street names in Mobile change and evolve over time, but that one has stuck around.
Are there any other street names that have any particular significance that you're aware of, from a standpoint of Mobile history?
Well, a lot of things, I lived for 5 years in New Orleans. I grew up in Mobile, then lived for 5 years in New Orleans, and came back to Mobile. And I think one of the things that was so interesting is how many street names New Orleans and Mobile share, because there's a lot of shared colonial history. So, you have, and along the Mississippi Gulf Coast too, you've got Bienville and D'Iberville and all these kind of different names, kind of shared history.
Dauphin.
But that's exactly, this is where you really contact, all these different people, explorers, folks Church Street, you've got a couple churches on it. Mm-hmm. But you really start to see, like with Detente Square, how, for example, how these kind of names of people that settled Mobile, colonial folks, were honored through street names. And it's a large reason why we still know their name today.
Now, let's talk about your current exhibit.
So right now we have an exhibit called Ancient Rome. It has been extended all the way through Labor Day, so that's an exciting there's still time for people to come and see it. This exhibit was created in Italy, in Florence, Italy, and when it was first unveiled, it won the Italian president's gold medal for cultural innovation, because to create this exhibit, they actually went back for the first time to Roman blueprints, to Roman notes, and recreated these machines that had been lost to history for 2,000 years. And so you can see them only at the History Museum of Mobile. And they're really fascinating, all sorts of different technologies, machines that allowed the Roman Empire to expand, and then also provided water, created a peacetime empire as well.
So it's about ancient Rome and the Roman Empire as a whole, right?
Exactly. It's about how the ancient Romans, and it's a very kind of STEM-oriented, how does this technology work? What actually allowed them to expand the empire? One of the interesting things is that so many, even foot soldiers, had to be engineers, certainly kind of the centurions who were older, because you would get to a river, you would get to a walled city and say, okay, we've got to engineer a solution to get over this city wall, or to build a bridge over this body of water that they had never seen before. And so just coming up and really problem solving on the go, they were incredibly good, incredibly skilled at it. Part of why the Roman Empire got so big.
Like the army of engineers.
Exactly. But a really kind of widespread expectation.
Now, apart from the Rome exhibit, what other displays do you guys have up right now that people can come and see?
So we have our permanent, actually just today we opened a new exhibit called the Trench Art of World War II. Trench art is a term that just means art created from the implements of war. So this is a World War II exhibit, and it's really fascinating. There's all sorts of shell casings and piece of artillery shells, all sorts of different things that have been carved in World War II by soldiers who were just excruciatingly bored, which is such an interesting thing. You have in war this kind of juxtaposition between people who are, the fear of battle and also these stretches of boredom that ended up producing a lot of art. So kind of an unexpected art of war that you might not always kind of see a different side of World War II.
Well, that makes me ask another question. What are some of the most unique or treasured artifacts that the museum possesses? Is there anything you guys have that's just off the wall crazy?
I think everyone has their favorites. Every curator at the museum has their favorites. So we also have, those are what I'm telling you about are our temporary exhibits, but we also have permanent exhibits that start with the mound builders before colonial contact, goes through civil rights, and then some thematic exhibits of Mardi Gras and shipbuilding and recreation and different things like that. So within those permanent exhibits, there are some amazing things. I love a portrait of De Tonti that was painted by a Dutch master who was a pupil of Rembrandt, the famous Dutch master Rembrandt. There are all sorts of, we also have, now this isn't on permanent display, this is back in our collection. We have a mastodon bone that's 10,000 years old. Really some extraordinary things. And just such a breadth of fascinating objects. Unexpected things, always something new to discover.
So is there a particular exhibit or that you would personally like to see happen or come to the museum?
Oh, yes. I think that we have secured my dream exhibit just last week. This is breaking news. And, COVID permitting, we will open an exhibit in February of real Egyptian mummies.
Oh, wow.
It's called Ancient Egypt in Eternal Life with some real Egyptian mummies and also all of these different artifacts, 2,000 to 4,000 years old, that show the burial rituals, the tools that they would use in mummification, all authentic artifacts. There's some international travel involved in that too. We're keeping our fingers crossed, but it looks like everything's going to be a go to get that here in February.
That's crazy. You did not strike me as a mummy person.
Oh, everyone loves mummies. I think it really has just so captured the public's imagination for hundreds of years. So we're really excited to be able to bring that and just share that with Mobile. Really, you have to go a long way in America to see mummies, real mummies, and mummies unwrapped even. And so to be able to bring that to Mobile for about 4 months is special.
So let's talk about how people can come. And I know some people, people have, COVID concerns, so on and so forth. Talk to us a little bit about what you guys are doing to quell those concerns and the museum hours and day passes and all that good stuff.
So we are open 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday. It's 9 to 5. Sunday, it's just in the afternoon, 1 to 5. We are doing all of the enhanced sanitation measures, wiping things down, asking people to maintain social distance. Of course, city-state ordinances, you have to wear a mask. And people have been really wonderful. I think at the museum, it's a wonderful air-conditioned place where you can come and really have some social distance. And it's a big museum, so there's room to spread out. Even when we have, so the first Sunday of each month, we're free. There's a small admissions charge during most days, but one Sunday a month, we are free on that first Sunday. And even then, we get big crowds then, but even then, we haven't had a problem with social distancing. And so it's a really good way to be able to keep some space and get out of the heat, see something other than the walls of your own house. Is
there a website that people can go to check things out that we can put basically right here on the screen?
Absolutely. HistoryMuseumofMobile.com is our website, and we also update Facebook quite regularly, History Museum of Mobile.
Meg, thank you so much for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. Meg Fowler with the History Museum of Mobile.
Thank you so much.